See, I'm curious, how many people got the email that I was stuck in Europe? Well, a lot of you were asking about George and Rosie, so let me tell you where they are right now, because I couldn't afford a plane to go back to them. So I put water wings on them, a GPS system on them. I took them to the coast of Spain. I pointed them in the direction of New York and said, you paddle and row. I'll meet you in New York City in 4 weeks. GPS indicates they're on their way across the Atlantic. Now, this little Paul's going like this, and George going to Rosie, come on, Rosie, he's waiting for us in New York. So they're getting there, okay? So that's the status of this. Now, isn't it nice that we can control our destiny, we can take charge of our destiny, and work for the betterment of ourselves as well as others? Isn't it nice that we don't have to steal from others, use our cunning, our guile, and whatever else you want to call it, to steal? Isn't it nice that as we get healthier, stronger, more vital, energetic, we are transferring that energy not just to ourselves, but we're transferring it to the environment so that everyone wins. We are out of the concept of competition, and we are working on ourselves, cooperating with everything and everyone in our environment. Isn't it nice that we're achieving that? Okay. So that's the purpose of what we're doing, and I got to thank the person who sent that email to remind us where we're going. Okay? Now, I want to go back to a story that I heard yesterday from one of our classmates that's important because the stories help, for me, indicate that we're moving in the right direction. So, James, you gave me permission to use this story. Is it all right?
Yes,
you correct me if I'm wrong on this. James and I were talking about some of the patterns that have been changed by he and his wife, Lori. She's also a student. They've been working on this concept about manifesting. Is that correct, James?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you've been doing this, you and Lori have been doing this before that now for how many days, this type of manifesting?
A week or so, or 2 weeks.
Okay, roughly a week and a half at least.
Right.
Okay. Now, in that process of the roughly 2 weeks, what have you seen in terms of the improvement?
It's more,
Would you mind standing
oh,
up?
sure.
So we can hear you.
It's more a clarification of the mind. It's like when your mind is clarified, then other things just begin to fall into order, fall into place in a natural manner.
And you were also talking about that you're sleeping more soundly.
Yes.
Okay? You're getting up less frequently during the night.
Yes, that's right.
And you have more energy and vitality when you awaken.
Yes.
Is that true?
That's true.
I know I'm leading the witness. We're doing this, but we've got to get through this. So that's good. Well, thank you. So that's good. And what about the relationship between you and Lori?
I would say that's better.
Okay, because you're sharing more and doing more.
Yes, right.
Very good. Well, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you very much. Okay. So when I hear stories like this, it makes me understand that we're all moving in the right direction. It really helps me understand better that this is really an important concept. Now let me give you a second story so we can review it, and we can also examine some of the ideas we've been covering over the last 2 weeks. Let me give you the background of the second story. I have a husband and wife who are working with their daughter. The daughter's 11 years old, and they want to get her into the movies. She wants to go into the movies, and for the last 3 years, they've been trying to get her into Hollywood, and they've been using a great deal of effort to do so. Now you can imagine living here in Texas and going to Hollywood all the time is not easy. So it's not an easy concept. She's gotten close several times to a major movie starring in this, and still not there yet. So now she has a very important audition that's coming up. This happened the story started about 3 weeks ago. The audition was going to be last Friday. It happened last Friday. So about a week before that Friday, I get a call from the father, and he says, Gary, is there anything that could be done to help his daughter get a fair viewing audition so she has a shot at this position? Is there anything that could be done? So what do you think I said to him? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. It's yes, because why? We can use this model, right? Okay. So he explained the things to him that we've been covering over the last 2 weeks, and he's an open-minded guy. And he understood this, and I started asking him, okay, now what do you want for your daughter? But before I go too far in this, you correct me. What was the first thing I had to do with him? What was the first thing we had to do?
Leading, objection, leading.
I need to get through this quickly, but I'm also asking you to just think about
Kidding.
everything we're doing. Yes.
Is
I
there
know.
permission for the men if your opportunities in order?
Well, as long as it goes through everything here. Okay, and you're right, you're right. Okay, so we can go with permission. But since he called me,
I guess
Okay.
that's understood.
right, since he called me, then he was desperate. He wanted to do anything possible. But you're right,
Right.
that's a good point. Ask for permission. Good point.
In some people's souls,
That's right.
want to.
And some people could. You're right. You're right. But so we asked for permission. Good point. Okay, but he gave you permission. So what's the next thing we do? We look for opportunity. Opportunity. This is opportunity. So we had to determine how much opportunity did he want and could activate through his body systems to start energizing his spirit, heart, and his brain so that we could gain some access into the people that were working here. All right, so he needed about $3,000. By about $3,000, that energy of that money was going through his body. You can muscle test, you can do any method you wanted to prove that, but he felt much more at peace when he had about $3,000 in his hand. So he was right here. So what's the second thing we need to do after the money? What's the next thing? What did he want?
They had to be very clear.
Had to be very clear what he wanted. Now, what was amazing here is that even though he understood these concepts and these principles, all he could focus upon when I started asking what he wanted was all the tragedies and all the problems that they'd gone through over the last 3 years of trying to get her into the movies. That's all I could think.
I had a question about this, because
Yeah.
last time you had your assistant think about some things she wanted to change rather than what she
We're
wanted.
getting there.
Okay, sorry.
We're getting there. That's
I had
okay.
a question about that. I don't understand why we did that last week.
Oh, we're getting. That's good. Good question. Okay, so all I could think about was the problems. Yeah, and that was somewhat like we had Amy do last week, sticking the problems. Well, I asked him, do you want to get more of the problems? No. No. So what do you want? Well, finally he started thinking of something positive about what he wanted. And this is even more surprising because, again, I told you, we're in this together. And this proves it also. What he wanted was just a fair shot at this, and whether she got the position or not, whether it went through well or not, as long as she could talk to the acting coach, and she could spend time with his daughter, he would be very happy with that, whether she got the part or not. Now that was very fair. Very fair. He didn't wish anything negative for anyone else. His spirit, he's a very fair person, his spirit wanted just an even playing field. I did a reading for the family, and the acting coach that they had, who was doing the audition, she was a very fair person, one of the most fair people you can imagine. So everything was going in the right direction. So now he's thinking about what he would like to do. We tested him so he could see it through the different parts of his body, realizing that it was being transmitted all the way through. And every time he thought of that concept, he was relaxed. He wasn't anxious anymore. And that's a dead giveaway that you're doing the right thing. You go back into being anxious, depressed, any of these things, something is being stopped along the way. We're stopping somewhere along in here. Okay? Now, the energy that passes through a person's body, even if it gets stopped, is it good energy or bad energy? Is there such a thing as good energy or bad energy? No. It's energy. What we decide to do with it, how we decide to use it, okay, our actions decide whether it's good or bad. You wouldn't say your car is good or bad. It just depends on how you're using it. You wouldn't say a gun is good or bad. It just depends on how you're going to use it. Okay, it's the same thing here. So when we get stuck, we're not getting stuck because of bad energy. We're getting stuck because of old stories, old tapes, old ideas in our minds that are trying to give us a hyperactivity in our thinking process to stop us. Somewhere along in here, the old story takes over. So he caught himself a number of times during the course of that week going back into fear, going back into being angry. And every time he did that, he would stop himself, go back, start checking himself, let it go through. So by Thursday, the night before, he was very relaxed. And in the process of he being relaxed, his daughter was also feeling a lot better about this position too. Well, daughter and mom, they go out for this interview. They went through it on Friday. He gives me a call on Saturday. Saturday he tells me, he goes, this is amazing. This is what he said, this is amazing. He goes, exactly what I saw that I wanted for my daughter happened. Out of the 13 young ladies that were there, only she, his daughter, was given time, a lot of time with the acting coach that was there. Now I'm hoping that there's going to be a callback on this. Looks like it's pretty good on this one. He got exactly what he wanted, and everyone was allowed happy. Now, call it chance, call it whatever you want, but this is the 50th time she's gone on these, and this is the first time that the acting coach took this much time to work with. So, you tell me, does it work or not? It does work. And we'll see it, the more we play with this, the more we do it. Does that begin to answer your questions?
So why would you have started with a picture of a negative situation?
He did.
No, I
No,
don't
that-
the exercise
that-
last week.
Oh, last week? Last week was just to give us an idea of what a negative situation would do to the
Energy
flow,
wants, okay,
the flow of energy through here.
I got it.
And unfortunately, because we're more attuned to that concept, it's generally easier for us to think about the negative. I wanted to start with what we're mostly doing to ourselves. At least I do that to myself too, if I'm not careful. So does that make sense? Okay. All right, so now this week, think about what we're going to do this week. This week is going to be a little different. We talked about the most important concept to get the flow of energy through here, and that is with the right idea. So that's number one. In order to manifest, we need the right idea. Number two in our list, because I started looking at this years ago to ask, how do I optimize all parts of my body? How do I optimize the transfer of energy, my brain, heart, and spirit? How do I do this? How do I optimize my psychic abilities, my spiritual connection? Well, I was shocked by what I found. The first one was the idea. Well, I think that's pretty reasonable. You need a good idea. And it's got to be able to be accepted by brain, heart, and spirit. But the second thing that came up, the second thing that arose, was that we need the B, like the letter B, like boy, vitamins. B vitamins. I checked so many other different types of vitamins and minerals, and nothing else would work. So let's go into where we're going this week. And we're going. Okay, so call it optimizing your connection. And this is the second part of our series. So now we're going to optimize how we transfer energy between brain, heart, spirit, and through the money. So the first thing is we're going to make a statement. Okay? We're going to make a statement. Well, the statement is about what would you do, how would your life change if right now you had a system in place, that you had some mechanism in place so that if you had a question, you could answer it like this. No matter what the issue was, you could create some method, some system, you had enough confidence in it, you've done it enough, how would that change your life right now? I want to get you to that point so we can start working back. Am I clear with what I'm asking you to do for the statement? Is that clear? Now be specific. Be specific with what that statement is and check it. Check the statement. How are you going to check the statement? How are you checking? We're going to muscle test, right? Right? We're going to muscle test. And if you can see it in front of you, like if you see yourself in front of you, if you can see the location of where the energy is, you can do that too. I would verify with muscle testing.
I'm confused at your step between how would you feel if you could get the right answer immediately, and you're just saying make a statement about whatever question you have to get the right answer?
Now, I'm asking you to imagine that you would get to where you would want to go with this whole process. My purpose for teaching this class, and I believe our purpose for teaching this class, is for all of you to know how to get there right now. So that if you had a question tonight, an important question about your life, could you answer that question with confidence, with certainty, on your own? And if you could do that, how would that improve the quality of your life right now? Right now. Because I want to get you thinking into understanding where you're going to be as fast as you allow yourself to go. Okay? Just think about where you would be right now, what you would do with your life if you could answer those questions just like this. You had the confidence, you had the certainty, and you knew the answers. How would that change the quality of your life? Okay, that's what I want you to think about.
That's the statement you're writing?
That's the statement we're writing. Now try to keep it short because of the time element, but be as specific as you can be. Would you give up your job? Would you go to Spain have a great adventure like I had. Okay, would you adopt 2 cats? Okay, what would you do? All right. I don't care what it is, but think about it because I need to get you there. I want you to start thinking about the opportunities you have right now because you've got it. You wouldn't be in this class if you didn't. Okay? Clear? Ask one.
I need you to just say one more time, one clear sentence about the statement that you want to write.
Okay? The statement is based on having the ability to write down about answering any question you want, no matter what it is for your life. If you had that ability, what would you do with that ability to write down? How would that change your life at this point right now? What would you do?
I've started it this way. If I could have with certainty the right answer to my questions, right now, I would.
It's okay.
Is that
I would
what
make
you're
it more
going for?
definite.
More
I have
definite?
the ability to answer whatever you want to say.
Okay.
I would do whatever it is you want to do. And then test it. See if that thought goes through your body of what you'd like to do.
Okay, I have the ability right now to know with certainty, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Therefore, I'm going to, right now.
Therefore, I am
blah, blah.
doing.
Okay, therefore I
Okay. Read the finger. Yeah.
I'm still not getting this. So if you could answer definitively, I'm still unclear what you want us to.
Would you go to work tomorrow? If you knew that you could answer any question you wanted for anything in your life, would you go to work tomorrow at the same job? For example.
And
am.
so you would have to know the answer 100%.
No, we're going to allow our brain, heart, and spirit in the transmission of that thought through to answer our question. Okay? I'm trying to train you right now. What I want to do is train you so that whatever the issue is, no matter what the issue is, you create a statement dealing with that issue. And if you have to test certain things like we're going to, you have a method to do so, and you're accurate with your testing. That's where we're going with this. I just like to get us there even faster. I'd like for you to start thinking that you're able to do everything you think you can without knowing answers. Better. That's all right. We'll move on. And if you have questions, we'll do it. Okay, but is it clear? Clear with what I meant? Okay.
No, I can
No.
try to give an example and see if they can relate to this, like, and you can tell me whether I'm right or not. Like, I'm a physical therapist, so my statement might be, because this is what I want for myself. I am a health coach in Dallas-Fort Worth area, giving lectures to people who have money and want help, and I make $500,000 a year.
800,000.
Okay. And that's my statement because that's what I want. And I don't know how to get to that, but that doesn't matter. I just make my
That's
statement,
what we're
and
talking
that is what I want.
That's what we're saying.
And I just focus on my statement,
Just focus on what you want. Exactly.
and that's improve my quality of
That's
life.
right. And you may even put down that you'd like to do it in the next 3 months or less.
Oh, that's right, the time period. I forgot
Okay?
about that.
Because that's what you're saying. 3 months or less.
That's right.
All right.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so that's where we're going with this. Okay, so, and now is it more clear? Jay, is it more clear now? Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now, so we're thinking about our statement first. Think about your statement. Think about your statement before you write it down. Okay? Test your statement in your mind before you write it down. Test it. Okay? How are we going to test it? Muscle testing. Right. Okay. So we clear with that? Once it goes through all the way, and you've tested all the different levels and you're strong, all the different levels all the way down to your feet, then we're going to write it on a card. We'll write it on the card. We'll commit it. Now we commit it. So write your statement. Okay? Write your statement. On 3x5 card. Okay, now, what you may want to do, for those of you who remember some of the old classes, but we can all do this, is now you've got a statement written, and This is an energy now because you've got words written here. It's an energy. You can pass your hand over that card, over that energy, over those words, and some of you may feel an energy coming from that card as you pass your hand over. Remember doing that before, some of you? Right? Okay, so just try it. And if you can feel the energy, great. If you can't, that's all right. But then when the next thing you do is after you have that statement, put some type of a closed figure around it. It could be a circle, oval, I don't care what it is, as long as it covers and completely encirculates all of the words on that card. Okay? Now, once you do that and you encirculate it, now we focus that energy, just like we do with a magnifying glass in the sun. Now we focus that energy, and now we can burn. Now we can energize. Now we can really get more energy coming from this. So try it again, and see if the energy now is even stronger as you pass your hand over. Just take a few moments. Whether you can do it or not, it doesn't matter, but at least start thinking you're able to do it. And guess what? You're going to do it. If not now, you will do it, but you've got to start programming yourself.
Is it important to write this in the present?
Yes. Yes, it
It's
is.
already here.
Because I want to get us there. I want you to get there. Okay? Okay. Now, we talked about having the partner muscle test you to make sure that you're strong with this statement that's on this card that's been circulated. Make sure that when you put it just under the breast, and you're holding on to it, and you're thinking about this statement, and you've got your arm out, make sure that when your partner is testing that on, and you're thinking about that statement, you are strong. Right? Okay, now, I'm getting ahead of myself with the muscle testing. What did we do to get to this point with muscle testing? How did we start with the muscle testing? How did we start? Anyone?
Permission.
Pardon me?
Ask permission.
Ask permission, excellent. What's the next step?
Your name.
Name. We start with a name, right? Okay, like I am, keep using your full name, right? As we're testing this. What's the next step?
Clear.
Okay, index finger from the tester onto the testee right here, right? So keep it